Hi everyone, in this video we'll be talking about the expression effect. This is a very special type of effect that allows you to manually control a value by entering specific percentages. What makes it different from other effects is the high degree of manual control it gives you over the pattern. Let's start a new pattern to see this in more detail. We'll add an expression effect to the depth property. First, we have the X expression, which affects the columns. If you think of your pattern as a set of columns in the X direction, this is what it controls. By default, its value is set to 100% and it repeats. With a depth of 20 centimeters, this means every column has that full depth. Now, let's modify it. If we type a space and then 50, the second column will now be 50% of the 20 centimeter value. The expression then repeats based on the number of columns. For instance, if we add another 50, the pattern will become 100%, then 50%, then 50%, and then it repeats. We also have options to refine this. If you enable the blur option, the values will blend together, creating a more graduated look. You can also activate the smooth option to get even more smoothness in the transition between values. And of course, you can always reset the effect to its default state. Next, we have the Y expression. This works on rows, not columns. Let's try it. If we set it to 100, then 50, you'll notice nothing happens. The Y expression will not work unless you have a 1 in the Y mask. Let's add a 1 there. Now you can see it works just like the X expression, affecting the rows with the same parameters and options. So what is this Y mask? The Y mask is essentially a tool that mixes the X expression and the Y expression. Think of the X expression as a base layer. The Y expression is a layer on top of it, and the Y mask controls which parts of that top layer are visible, allowing you to show the Y expression on some rows and hide it on others. Let's try a practical example. We'll set the X expression to 150 and the Y expression to 150 as well. Then, in the Y mask, we'll enter 0, 1. What happens here? The first row, corresponding to the 0 in the Y mask, takes its values directly from the X expression, so it alternates between 100 and 50. The 0 tells it to ignore the Y expression for that row. The second row, which corresponds to the 1 in the Y mask, takes its value from the Y expression. Since the second value in our Y expression is 50, the entire second row becomes 50%. The mask then repeats. The third row will again take from the X expression, and the fourth row will take the second value from our Y expression, which is 50. Using a mask like 0101 allows you to easily alternate, giving you incredible control to mix the X and Y expressions to build complex patterns. The expression effect isn't just for numeric values like depth. It can also be used for binary options like flick X and flip Y. In this case, the effect only takes values of 1 and 0. 1 is the default state, meaning not flipped, while 0 means it is flipped. If we enter 1, then 0 in the X expression for flip Y, it will create a pattern where every other column is flipped along the Y-axis. This powerful effect is also available in other areas. For example, when distributing different items, you can set the distribution type to expression. Here, the expression takes the ID numbers of the items. If you add a second item, like a hexagon, you can write an expression like 1, 2 to distribute your first item in the first column and the second item in the second column, repeating that pattern. The Y expression and Y mask work here as well, allowing you to control the item distribution row by row. This same principle applies to the material ID distribution method in the material section. You can use an expression like 1, 2 to assign material ID number 1 to the first column and number 2 to the second column. You can then use the Y mask to blend this with a separate Y expression for even more complex material assignments. With that, we have covered the expression effect. In the next video, we will talk about the shape effect. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.